In this video, we're going to learn about ordering integers using number lines and then using greater than or less than notation. So let's just review some of this information before we get started. If two numbers are not equal, one must be less than the other. Okay, so this is called the ordering of integers. So unlike, say, colors, if we had green and blue, they don't have ordering, meaning one isn't less than another, but with numbers we do have that property. One number is less than another if it falls to the left of the other on the number line. Equivalently, we can also say that if two numbers are not equal, one must be greater than the other. And one number is greater than another if it falls to the right of the other on the number line. So basically this means to determine the ordering of two numbers, one's going to be less than the other, one's going to be greater than the other. We need to compare them relative to each other on the number line and see which one is to the right and or left of the other. This is the inequality notation that we use. This reads 2 is less than 5, and this symbol is the less than symbol. This reads 6 is greater than 3, and we call this the greater than symbol. Now, notice we could also write 2 is less than 5 and say that that means that 5 is greater than 2. So this is an equivalent way to write 2 is less than 5. So if you change the order of the numbers, it changes the direction of the inequality sign. Similarly, 6 is greater than 3 is equivalent to 3 is less than 6. So we can also write this in this direction. So if you change the order of the numbers, then you reverse the inequality sign. And one way to remember which way the direction of the inequality sign goes is that, I know this looks silly, but it'll help you remember. You can think of, I had some teacher who told me that the inequality sign is like an alligator's mouth, and the alligator is hungry. So it will always point towards the bigger number because it wants to eat more. Okay, I know it's silly, but think of the open sign of the inequality symbol points towards the larger number. So if we were going to write this in the other order, we put the alligator's mouth this way, but don't draw the teeth. Okay, so let's look at some examples with number lines. Plot -5 and 3 on the number line below. So notice this is already labeled for us. So I'll start by plotting -5 and 3, +3 is over here. Now it asks, write the number that is further to the right. Well, relative to each other, 3 is to the right of -5. Now we're asked to insert the correct inequality symbol in the space provided. Well, since 3 is to the right of -5, 3 is greater than -5, -5 is less than 3. Okay? So we'll fill in these symbols, and you can think about the alligator mouth going towards the bigger number, the number to the right, and this reads -5 is less than 3, 3 is greater than -5. And in general, any positive number will be greater than any negative number because all the positive numbers are to the right. Let's look at the next one. Plot -4 and -7 on the number line below. Well, here's -4 and here's -7. Write the number that is further to the right. Well, relative to -7, -4 is further to the right. So that means -4 is greater than -7, and -7 is less than -4. Okay? And this may seem a little bit counterintuitive because the number 7 is greater than the number 4, but in the negative direction, you could think of perhaps owing money. If you owe $7, you have less money than if you owe somebody $4. Okay? So with negative numbers, it's typically the opposite of what you may think, The larger absolute value, meaning the absolute value of -7 is 7, is actually the smaller numbers when we're looking at two negatives.